That's my boy! Wimp.
Yeah. I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia!
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light. All the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for people.
What can I do? People know more love the truth.
Shut the fuck up.
What's true? That's why we gotta shine a light. Oh, shine a light, shine a light. We gotta shine a light. Oh, yeah. Together forever. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. The Unity Channel. Zero News and now. Tom Generation Next. It's gonna shine a light. Generation X.
Hey, yo. How we all doing? Sorry. So I've gone live rather than... sorry about this. This was... I hoped I'd sorted this out. 1 second. Okay, so I've gone live rather than make a video. That's what I do for a minute. Rather than make a video, because I have things I need to get on with. But at the same time, I felt like I needed to make this video now, because it's like... well... The first thing I want to say is, it's not a big circle jerk. I want to make it very clear this is not a circle jerk. This is a reaction. This video is a complete reaction to seeing Vin's video. He didn't tip me off he was going to make it beforehand. He just let me know, I hope you don't mind, but I made a video and I mentioned you this morning. So I watched the video and have a pure reaction to it. So again, I don't want this to seem like a circle jerk. That is... I'll be addressing this now or maybe at one other time. Yeah. So, as I said, it's caught me a little off guard, but I felt like maybe... Normally I don't knee-jerk to things. I felt like maybe this would... While I'm sort of opened up a little bit, maybe this would be a better time to talk to you. So, wow, what a video. I had to replay certain parts. I couldn't believe I was hearing them, because the first things first, let's establish something. You're not going to get a video ever where I call myself a hero. That's not going to happen. The hero to me is him, standing up for himself and standing up for me in a way that I've never been able to stand up for myself. For whatever reason, I was never able to stand up for myself that way. So, he's right. Every footstep has been painful for the last, I don't know how many years. We're talking decades. And it only gets worse. And I was kind of alright with it before, because I knew that I had plenty of time before this particular disease, Charcot-Marie tooth, often shortened to CMT type 1A, is the one I've got. And it wastes your muscles, but it also breaks down the sheath around your nerves as well, which causes all kinds of things to happen. But obviously, one of the things is atrophy. So its closest cousin is I think it's muscular dystrophy. I think it's that, but it's the most common neurological disease in the world. This, along with other problems, and it creates certain types of other problems. They all go hand in hand. So one feeds the other, feeds the other. So these days I'm walking on my bones when I walk, which is why I have to have certain things done. Now this is not a poor me story. This is just the facts I've had to live with for the last however long. Plus the other things that this causes, like, you know, you're not always in the best mental state because of it, because it affects parts of your body that you don't necessarily have control over. And I only found this out recently from doctors that your mental state may not be within your control. When I say mental state, I don't mean smashing things up. I mean, you may go lower than you, because there's sometimes when I don't understand why things happen. I think everything's, you know, but there's sometimes where you go lower because your nervous system is not working like everybody else's. It's been compromised. So there are times when I want to get up and do something and the body won't comply. There are times when I'm feeling excessive exhaustion and it's the body, not the brain, that's feeling it. It's awful when you want to do stuff and you can't. You want to do it, like you're desperate to do it. And so, yeah, money is one issue, but so is fighting this bastard problem all the time as well, you know. But I was never too deterred because of the fact that I had time. Unfortunately, there's a blueprint for where I'm at the moment, and with the things I've just found out recently, the blueprint's not great because at the moment I'm following in my dad's footsteps, same disease. And so around about 53 was when he started to lose the ability to walk. I'm going down. It doesn't mean this will happen. Because we've lived very different lives, and I'm hoping that for me it's going to be a slower progress thing. But nevertheless, we're both going down this same street, so it becomes a little bit more frightening now. I'm getting to that age. Is my point? Yeah. Now I'm getting to that age. It's getting a little bit more like, oh shit, this is getting a bit scary now. So now I'm feeling an urgency to get stuff done and then get places. And this is my point. It's not to feel sorry for me. I'm feeling an urgency about getting stuff done, to get places, to do as much as I can on the street while I still can. And that's why when people think I'm a coward for not turning up on the street or question mine or Vin's integrity about things like that, that does bother me. Because if I had the money and the health, I'd be out there every fucking week. I'd probably be out there every day, because that's the kind of obsessive mindset that I have. You've seen that. I have to do the best I can with the hand that I'm dealt. It's not a defense. It's just the facts I have to deal with. So if I have to deal with them, so does everybody else, and they can take or leave that. But I do the best I can do at any given time. There's never a time when I've gone, can't be bothered with the podcast. There's never a time when I think, can't be bothered with the activism. There's never been a single moment where I thought, this can't be bothered. Fuck it. I'd rather go and have a joint or play a computer game. Nah, not once, not never. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with getting things fixed. And therefore I can't enjoy the things I used to enjoy, because this is important to me. The things that Vin's been through, not just in this movement, but in life. And again, this is not a circle jerk. This is just a reciprocation. He can't go fully into. And nor can I on his behalf. So he's gone against all the things that could prevent him from succeeding, and he's succeeding anyway. That takes some balls to do what he's doing after everything that he's had to go through in life. So, and I think there's a question of integrity there. I think probably we've been trying to pour our heart out in terms of giving you the best of ourselves that we can, with the restrictions we've got on us, hoping that people will see through those restrictions for what they are. And that is, we're not going to stand here begging or even blackmailing you into giving us money to get places. We're just not going to go to those places if we haven't got the money. You know, that should be considered a kind of integrity. Instead, the word coward gets thrown around. That's why it tends to hurt a little bit more, because it's like, wow, these people that supported me, now I've stopped literally putting my electricity money into this, now call me a coward. You know, same for Vin. You know, he's done nothing. And look at his record. He's done nothing but stand up for good since he was young. And he continues to do that all the time. So to be questioned as though there's some kind of little party going on here, or the real party, as I've said, is going on all the channels that know they're under an umbrella, that know that they are pulling their punches for certain people, who know that if they don't follow the narrative, they'll be in trouble. Those are the channels, regardless of how many subscribers they do or don't seem to have, they know who they are. I'll tell you why I know who they are. I've been there. And you can't hide it from me. So, and when you become infected by those channels, same thing. You stink of them, because it's all about pulling punches for certain people in order to keep the narrative. That's fine. Do what you want. It's none of my business. But we're not here to keep the narrative. I don't have time for the fucking narrative. And quite frankly, neither do you. Neither do you guys. So, but in terms of my effectiveness in this movement, I don't have the time on my feet to mess about. So if I ever criticize something, don't make the mistake of thinking it's some petty attack. Don't make the mistake of thinking I won't back up my words, because I will. I've slept in train stations at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've told you this before. 2 o'clock in the morning at, what's it called? It's the train station over the bridge from Waterloo. Effing freezing, because it's all the bottoms are open. I forget what it's called. Is it black something? Blackfriars. Jesus Christ. Sleeping in there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Waiting to go to Luton at 5 in the morning, you know. And I did that many times. Also, with a lot of very expensive equipment and on my own, you know. This is common. Whilst having the problems I've got with my body, you're dealing with two problems at once. Now, no, don't get me wrong. Nobody asked me to suffer like that. This was just what you put in for your cause. So, so the point isn't to portray a hero. Again, you'll never hear me call myself that. The point is to say, when someone says coward, when someone thinks that you're not prepared to back it up, when I literally have 8 years of evidence that shows the complete opposite. And what you don't know. Okay, Vindicators says about things you don't know. I'm not going to tell you all of them, as much as I'm also not going to go into my health as much as perhaps he was suggesting, because I'm not ready to yet. Because there are aspects of my health that I haven't even accepted myself. You can call it denial, you can call it what you want, but I'm not prepared to say them out loud even to myself yet. And that is my own problem to deal with. But as far as other things, when I took my year off, what you don't know is that I put myself in prime position to do what lots of people have done. Except I put myself in the best position to do it. When I did Welcome to Southampton, and you can ask Urban Scoop this, they can confirm or they can deny it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the truth. But when I made Welcome to Southampton, my documentary, it was the thing that opened the sleuth gates on Urban Scoop to be truly by the people, for the people, because they started to realise there was benefit in allowing people like me to make documentaries and put them on there. I was one of the first people producing content on there, regular content. And I got offered a permanent place on there. And if you remember at first, I took it. Then I took my year off. Because I'd burnt myself out getting there. I'd spent, at that point, 5.5 years just burning on all cylinders, being burnt by people, and with this condition. So once, and this is not the only one occasion. I've had so many times during my time in life where I could have made it bigger than I have. And for various reasons, it hasn't worked out. Well, I had an offer to be fully backed by Tommy, by them, by Urban Scoop. And my Urban Scoop videos were getting out to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the end, because they were on Urban Scoop. They were platformed by Tommy's platform. So obviously they were going to get out there. But my point is, people watched them, enjoyed them. And you may not know that. Some of the videos were uncredited, which is fine. I didn't mind that because I was doing it for them. But a lot of videos, like I made well over 100 for Urban Scoop. So think how many you may have watched that you don't even know it was me. That's fine. Again, I did it for them. And I'm happy if anybody enjoyed those. I really am. That was why I made them. I wanted people to enjoy them or get, I wanted everybody to get the best out of it. That's why it helped. There's no bad karma there. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if I was the money maker, or if I was looking for opportunities, or the offer from them on the table to me back then, which was simply to work for them and to produce just a couple of bits of content every week, and they would push me to the hilt. They would push me like you've seen Danny Tomo pushed in the past, or any of the other people you've seen pushed. And I would have been one of the front-running faces on Urban Scoop. I, at the time, felt like there were some things that I didn't like, which I won't talk about because unless you know that you're right or wrong about something, you shouldn't. And there was also just the fact that I was starting to feel physically compromised at the time, and if I can't keep my word to you, I'm not going to make a promise. And so that was when I realised I needed to take time out or even quit. I thought I'd have to quit. So you don't know, and that's just one of many offers. That's the offer I turned down that would have given me bigger coverage than everybody. I already had one of the most successful channels out of our lot, but it would have got me very, very big. They would have pushed me to sort of Danny Tomo heights. I mean, that was exactly what they were putting behind me. And I'm not blaming them for not doing it. I walked away. My point of it is, if I was wired in that way of wanting fame and all that stuff, I wouldn't have walked away, would I? I would have taken it, because that would have been the whole thing I would have been searching for the whole time. But I'm not starstruck. If I don't see a worth in doing something, I won't do it. So, and I will catch up with your comments in a minute. I see them on there, so we'll catch up with your comments. And I just want to make it clear. So when I say Vin's like a hero for making that video, he's a hero because he said all the things that I feel like I never could. But he said the things as well you need to know, like when he's walking around that field. And people say just point a camera and shoot, that's all you've got to do. Why do you make it out to be any more complicated? I wish it was that easy. I wouldn't be half as stressed about making a podcast as I am. I wish it was like that. I truly do. But it's not. It's not. It's far from it. It's far, far from it. Especially when you're dealing with what we're dealing with, which is politics and people's lives and SA. I hate using abbreviations, but I've got to on YouTube with that particular phrase. But, I mean, the other thing as well is I would never compare my trauma to the people who've actually been through it, obviously. But when you're meeting these people, whilst I was making the Brave of Britain, how can you not feel for them? You're also in conditions you never imagined yourself being in. And I nearly got myself killed one night, and that's all I can ever say about it. It would have been my own fault in as much as I would have walked straight into something and tried to play, but I tried to be face for a night from A-Team. I got away with it. Just it was stupid. It was, as Tommy said, that was the bravest and stupidest thing I've ever seen anybody do. And what could I do but acknowledge? Just shake my head like that, because I knew it was brave, but it was also fucking stupid. But I did it because I was trying to get the information we needed in order to nail certain PDF bastards, yeah? But the problem is with these things is when you've encountered this and when you've seen these types of people leaving that kind of life, it's really difficult. And you don't think at the time it's having an effect on you, but it does. It just doesn't come out till later, So then when you've gone and done all that, again, when you put yourself out here online, you're open to scrutiny. So I don't like people putting things about burials or deaths and stuff like that out on here. When people come on YouTube and say they've lost their baby, I'm like, oh no, because you know what's going to happen. It's like, well, look, I know you've lost your baby, but don't expect everybody on here to be nice to you, because it's just not going to happen. You're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. So I would never say, oh, nobody has the right to say bad stuff. Nothing like that at all. Like, seriously, nothing like that at all. We're not so fragile that we can be hurt that easy. I don't think it comes down to that. I think it's more about setting the record straight. I think it's more about the camera catches, I've always said this to you in the past, the camera catches less than 1% of our life. So you don't know what type of people we are, which is understandable. You only get to see this small window. And you don't know what's going on in the background, because if we told you, we'd be telling the opposition everything they needed to know, and therefore we wouldn't be able to get anything done ever. So there's obviously a lot that we, can't show you. And quite frankly, if we did, you just see how human we are. Vin's right about something, though. I'm probably one of the most honest people you'll ever meet. You just don't know it, because honesty has become a point of view. And I've always said, if I'm honest, what I mean is I'm giving you my honest opinion. It doesn't make me right. There's a lot of people think honesty equals being right. That's not the same thing. I'm just honest about what I believe and what I believe to be true. You won't find a more honest person than me, because I have a almost OCD problem with lying. Probably not healthy, but and I'm also a terrible liar, and everybody knows it because I would do the walk of shame like that. So yeah, when you learn you're not a good liar, to persist at it is kind of stupid, right? So yeah, I lie like a child, so no point. But I can't really give you a much more articulate or decent response to his video than that, because it really did knock me back a bit. But yeah, there's nothing he said that was inaccurate. Except that, again, you're never going to get me calling myself a hero. I wouldn't quite go that far, but I understand the sentiment, and I would just say, just make sure that in all of that, you don't miss what he's saying about himself, because everything that could apply to me absolutely applies to him. More so in some ways. But again, just like he said in his videos, there's certain things that it's not for me to say, but a lot of people that do what they do in this movement, what you don't realise is a lot of them, and I don't feel any shame saying this, because I stood round a table one day with many activists that some of you absolutely adore, but I won't name them because I don't want them to feel I've revealed a vulnerability. But I don't know why I said it, just out of nowhere I said, how many people around this table, we were in a KFC, creators, activists, how many people in this room are here because they care, but also because they're trying to fill a hole inside themselves? And I don't know why I asked it. It just came out of me. And I think I even maybe prefaced it by saying, because that's true of me. But I can't totally remember that part. But I'm thinking, I know that's how I would normally handle a question like that, but I don't know why I asked it. And everybody around that table, every single one has said, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And I'm talking about some of the people you'd be surprised. But good people, great people. And people that to this day I've got loads of respect for. But in having this hole in ourselves, it doesn't make us less honest. It makes us more driven. It makes us more driven to do the right thing, Anyway, listen, I've kept you talking. I didn't mean to keep you talking this long. So let me catch up with you, because I really don't know what else I can really say about it. And I've got stuff to do. So, hey Capricorn, it's good to see you. Fine times, you're a good person. Yeah, no worries, I understand. I kind of dropped this lot on you. I didn't tell you I was going to do a live, so, let me try and catch up. So, I'm going to have to start right at the beginning for a second. Proud of you, Capricorn. Do I mean like depression? That's part of it, but like I've got so in term, yeah, because it's affecting your nervous system. It can cause like a depressive reaction on your system. With me, I have like a lot of anxiety as well, but it can cause a physical or mental or both depression that you actually don't have a full cognitive choice and understanding, because it's not coming from the usual trauma places that it could come from. So it can be very hard to sort of diagnose why it's happening because of the depression on your nervous system, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does. But, you know, with all this said, I'm no victim. I'm great. And I love doing what I do. I'm glad to be back on this channel. I'm glad to be trying to find solutions. I'm glad that, hey, Min, great to see you. Great to see you. No worries, no worries. It was my fault. I dropped this in. Hey, Captain, good to see you. Missy Moon. Everybody, if there's anybody I've missed, please forgive me. Please forgive me if there's anybody I missed. I think I've got everyone. Yeah, so how do I finish this? Because it's way too long and I need to get done. What is it, 12:15? I need to get started going on stuff. So, again, it's hard to really articulate a full response because it kind of caught me off guard. But not in the worst of ways. There's things that Ben said there, if I'd said for myself, I suppose maybe people wouldn't have listened. So, all I can do is say thank you to him for standing up for me for a start. Yeah, because nobody else ever has. Not like that. Yeah, and I suppose that's the bit that's hard for me to, yeah. But also, if anything, I just hope that people understand that everything we do comes from a good place. That's it. That we're always going to get questioned, and I hope we do, because as I've said to you about questioning leaders and stuff, I want us to be questioned. I want our motives to be questioned. I want us to be always held accountable. Never want that to stop, ever. Otherwise, we've failed. But I truly hope it will help people understand some of our motivations, where we're coming from maybe, and why division, for instance, the thing that keeps being levied, or cowardice, is just things we do not have time for. We don't. We are not treading water like so many other people, because and I've spoken to a lot of auditors this week and found out that just a couple of them are feeling exactly the same way. People are beginning to feel the same way, like we're not doing the right things to get the right places. This is not just a me and Vin thing. This is going across people now. People are picking a side. One is monetary, the other is country. And I don't know what's going to happen, because nobody's asking anybody to pick sides. People are just making moral choices, is what I'm trying to tell you. But the hope for me is that I'm hearing those moral choices being made. So I'm hoping that happens and trust gets regained. So you start to see where people like us are coming from, and that we do have a life between this, and that life is about this, half of it, and that, yeah, even if it seems like we're walking around the field, we'll give you the best we can in the moment. We're working with the tools that we've got. If we had the money, we'd be at places all the time. But I've been to more demos than I actually remember. I would have to go to my channel and count them. Even you guys wouldn't know. I made 1,700 videos on that channel, so you work it out. I have no idea. But we covered absolutely everything. And if you remember, people that remember will know there was no edits or cuts or short clips while I was going to get pissed in the pub. I was there for 8 hours straight minimum filming with no breaks. So every demo, and I would, in the end, people were sending me food and drink because I wasn't eating or drinking, because I just didn't care about anything but the footage. So Doesn't make me hear it. It makes me a bit stupid, but you get my point. It's like that's how much we, we're into this. So yeah, so I hope if nothing else, what's been achieved is just that people just think about where we're coming from and think that maybe if they want to attribute labels of cowardice or laziness or futility or gotcha, if there is any of that in there, then I would just say, okay, judge us on what we are. Judge us on what we are. Because you only get to see such a tiny percentage here. But I think that both myself and Ben, I haven't got the extensive library he's got now because I had to close my other channel down. But the censorship for me has been a nightmare. Finding out you're censored on AI and you're not even a big, massive, prominent name was shocking to me. Shocking. And then when you're attacked in your own way, when I say attack, it's very subtle in some cases by your own side, the left, the police, and the Muslims. It's a very isolating place to be. I mean, the only reason that you're attacked by a lot of people on your own side is because you're a threat to in their eyes, to the size of their channel. Like, for instance, as I started approaching 20,000, that's when the pushback began from channels with 35,000, for instance. That's when certain targeting began to happen to me. The gatekeepers, yeah. There's a lot of things like this you're not aware of because, well, would you be? I wasn't aware of it either. I knew it was in the media industry, but I didn't think it was here until you're the victim of it. And then if you say you're a victim of it, people just think, do you know what I mean? So there's no point saying it. So I've seen it done to other people as well. Just recently, actually, there's a certain guy we all know who has a specific time slot at nights, and you could call it healthy competition, but plenty of hours in the day, the movement's quite small, and certain other channels who just happen to have a beef with him in the movement all fix their times for 5 to the same time. You can think of that what you want, but you talk about unity, and then you let people like that get away with that. Whilst people like myself and Ben are just being totally open and honest. So I think that's where the sense of dual standards comes from. When I say I'm talking about what we feel like is probably some of the people in the movement at large, because we also know there's loads of people that see things exactly the way we do. It's not about seeing things exactly the way we do, though. It's about bringing people together with different opinions, coming up with the best ideas. But if people want us to stop the fluff, and they want to talk about unity, and they want us to stop talking about all of this person's wrong, that person's wrong, if they don't like that, then they need to also stop the accusations themselves and realise why we're here, why people like myself are here, why people like Vin are here. Because if you're just blindly defending people, you're part of the problem, not us. That's, we're just trying to raise questions that are valid, and that, to be quite frank with you, a lot of the questions I raise are the questions that come straight from the street, straight from the internet, the people who are too afraid to speak. Some of the questions I use aren't even my own questions. They're the questions coming from the general public they're too afraid to ask themselves. So therefore I ask for them. I don't ask for any thanks. I never say that because it's not what we're about. But I ask. I did it on Vin's channel the other day. He would tell you. Ask him. But I try and put myself in other people's shoes and ask the questions they would ask, or ask questions they actually have asked. But people always assume, oh, Tom's got an axe to grind. Not always, no. No, often that's not the case. Often it's listening to you, and then WhatsApp messages, emails, things like that, and then going, okay, they've got a legitimate concern here. I'm gonna address it. So I am a bit tired of the intent behind what we do being questioned, but at the same time I know it's necessary. So I suppose it's balance, isn't it? I suppose it's balance. If we get too hooked up in the in the questioning us all of the time, then we can't get anything done. But at the same time, you've got to keep us accountable. I guess that's what I'm saying. But I guess the hero worship needs to stop. As I said to you on my other streams, and I'll say this for the last time, Nobody's a hero, because heroes go on plateaus, and then you guys stop calling them to account. We're all human beings, faults, flaws, problems, issues, just like so many of you are, which is why my story today isn't a sub story. We're all got a fucking cross to bear. And that's why hero worship and anybody, even in this movement, is dangerous for you, because you are going to put yourself in a vulnerable position. Now, if that is divisive, then so be it. But that's the kind of thing that I'm looking out for when I say the things that I do. I'm not looking to bring a YouTuber down. I'm looking to elevate the watcher up. That's the best way I can put it. But I know that man on my screen, Vin, and I know that me, and I know that other people really do mean the best. Doesn't mean we know what's best for you, but it means we offer the best of ourselves. And that's all I kind of want to say on it for the moment. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me at thisiszeronews@gmail.com, or put some questions in the comments. I'm pretty much an open book. I don't hide. The only things I hide is other people's privacy. That's it. So always feel like you can contact me and ask me anything you want to. Like I say, I am an open book. People have just forgotten that, and they don't use that open book to their advantage. So I can only tell you it's there, but I'm not going to force you to read it. All right? But I will say thank you to Vin for saying what I never had the guts to. And thank you to anybody that listened. And I will catch you soon. And the good work will continue. Tom Fury, Zero News. I'm calling it a day for now.